To give you some perspective of the quantities that eventually arrived, and these are data from very reliable sources, from the 1st of October 2015 to the 31st of January 2016, as much as 2.5 million tons of pulses from across the globe hit the shores of India. This is an unprecedented event. It has never happened in the past. I have been in this business for a long time, and we saw this almost 50% of India's annual import hit the shores of India. And obviously, this abundant supply brought the prices down, brought the prices under control. The bunching up of supplies is obviously related to demand, but is also directly related to harvest. We know that between August and December, two large producers like Australia and Canada harvest their crops. And it is but natural that it is in this period that the availability of supplies is there, the prices are attractive, and the importers stood up to the occasion and imported. And we see that the prices are now well under control. What's more, over 900,000 tons of lentils arrived into India over the last 12 months. This is a record. It is a double the quantity of last year, and we see that lentil prices are also well under control. As chairman of IPGA, I firmly believe that all of us assembled here are an important part of the supply chain and have played a pivotal role over the last so many years of ensuring adequate supplies of pulses, nutritious pulses, to help India's nutrition security. And I think the world needs to recognize this very important role that we as a world community of pulses play in countries like, in deficit countries like India. On the silver lining on all of this is that I'm happy to say that the 2016 Rabi plantings are normal, and the crops of desi chickpeas and lentils look to be in good shape. Imports and cross prospects will help keep pulses affordable and available. Now turning to something more forward-looking and less talk of statistics, etc. As part of our endeavor to bring in a positive transformation to the Indian pulses sector, IPGA will be signing 3 MOUs in the course of the next few days. One will be with ICRISAT, a research organization. The other will be with ITC, and of course OTAM. OTAM is the National Association of Pulses of Myanmar. Soon after the exhibition opening at 9 a.m. tomorrow, IPGA is set to sign the MOU with ICRISAT. The idea is to support ICRISAT in all its initiatives on research, on better variety of seeds, on better information dissemination to the farmers, with the idea of contributing, or IPGA's contributing to the yield, to the yield and production issues that are faced by the Indian farmers. IPGA will also be signing the MOU, as I said, with the International Trade Center in Geneva. And of course, Myanmar is a very, very important origin of pulses for India. We intend to sign up an MOU with the association there. We need to start a dialogue with them. We need to start sharing a domain with each other. We need to address issues that the trade of both Myanmar and India face, and of course, as an association, endeavor to make information and commodity flow absolutely transparent and seamless. So that is the general aim that we have in signing these MOUs. I won't take too much of your time. Once again, a very warm welcome to all the dignitaries on the dais and to all our esteemed delegates who have so enthusiastically embraced this conference. And I wish you a very enjoyable and informative next 2 days. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the chairman, India Pulses and Grains Association, the apex body of the trade in India, welcoming you formally. Thank you, sir, for the good news that you have shared with us, so many MOUs being signed. The last time I heard MOUs being signed was just a couple of days ago at the Make in India initiative hosted by the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, and he was very happy with the MOUs that have been being signed all across the world with Indian industry and enterprise. And I'm sure that you are also similarly very pleased with the initiatives and, of course, the work being done by the India Pulses and Grains Association. So big round of applause to its chairman and IPGA, please, ladies and gentlemen. Talking about accomplishments, it's my privilege to just invite the next person because she has been introduced in part. And then, of course, you need no introduction to the lady. She's a woman of many accomplishments. You've already been told that she's the founder of Emerging Ag Incorporated. She is also represents the International Agri-Food Network at the United Nations, and it's no small part due to her efforts that this year has been declared as the International Year of Pulses at the United Nations. She has also been chosen to be the Secretariat for this year of International Year of Pulses by the apex organization for pulses all across the world. That's the Global Pulses Confederation. Ladies and gentlemen, to deliver her speech here at this conclave, please welcome Robin Anderson.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, and to you, Mr. Chairman, for your kind introduction. It's an honor to be on the podium today with so many illustrious thinkers in the pulse sector, and particularly so because 2016 is such an exciting year. Through the Global Pulse Confederation, under the leadership of its president, Mr. Arslan, there's an incredible opportunity to engage as the pulse sector with a whole range of other organizations to make an impact on the pulse business. And it all began in a very exciting way on November 10th. 2016 is the International Year of Pulses, as declared by the United Nations. And the UN took the opportunity in Rome to launch that and have a kickoff that began a series of activities that we'll be talking about this evening that are occurring literally all over the world. Just that next week, we had a major launch in New York at the United Nations headquarters, followed by a major media event in the context of the United States, where they had 5 celebrity chefs come and attend a wonderful gala evening talking about the role of pulses. And that was just the start of activities that are breaking out literally all over the world. The very next day, in New York, the New York Academy of Sciences hosted 150 researchers, farmers, food manufacturers, and policymakers from around the world to come and talk about the nutrition of pulses. We had eminent speakers from all over the world, including India, who began to talk not only about the various roles that pulses play in the diets and the well-being of people, but began to also talk about how they link as a research sector, how they get attention to the nutritional issues related to pulses, and how they can better focus diets on the role that pulses play in good health and well-being. Then we had the opportunity for 2016 to launch truly the year that will hopefully sail many, many ships in this room and will create an opportunity for pulses to be reignited as a source of passion in places like India, where they've been consumed for millennia, and places that have forgotten their passion for pulses. So in one day, on January 6th, in 36 different countries, there were 141 events. Online, we reached 21 million people in one day on pulses. And there were great leaders here, like Mr. Chandrasekhar, who have been involved in events that occurred that day that began a series of momentous activities that are breaking out all over the year. Already, our social media reach is 190 million people on pulses as of this week. 700 major media stories in India and all over the world on pulses. And this massive thunderclap that began with almost 7 million people saying that they cared about pulses that day have engaged all sorts of activities. We've seen companies commit to serving pulses every week in their cafeterias. We've seen universities get engaged. We've seen feeding programs in Malawi. We've had major events in the UK, and Singapore even formed a new Pulse Association for the first time. So right around the globe, we have events that began with the New York Academy of Sciences, and of course now here in India. There will be a major conference in 2 weeks' time in Zambia on the Pan-African Legumes Conference. There will be an event in Costa Rica, in Morocco, of course in Turkey. We hope that all of you will be there for the World Pulses Convention. There will be meetings in France, Australia, Portugal, and the whole year will wrap up with a major meeting organized in New Delhi on the topic pulses. And as we begin to look at the next few months, we want to think about ways in which all of you can engage in the International Year of Pulses. The World Wildlife Federation has a very famous campaign called the Earth Hour. And already there's been major outreach coordinated through the UK Association, which will allow us to provide a bespoke recipe, which is the red lentil, tomato, and rosemary soup with goat's cheese toasties, for one example of the World Hour. We hope that India will also engage with groups like World Wildlife Federation and talk about the role pulses play in sustainability coming up on March 19th. There's an opportunity for every one of you to engage in the Twitter campaign, to talk about the importance of pulses to the earth. And there's also the opportunity to talk about the role of pulses in diet. We had 64 signature recipes collected, and thanks to the great work of Pradeep and the team at IPGA, there's a submission from every state in India that talks about the wonderful recipes that you can make with pulses. These are already online. A resource of more than 200 recipes are online on pulses.org. But we will, in the month that follows, actually release a number of videos about how to make these pulses, and hopefully we'll see all of you try and make some of these great dishes in the context of your operations. And then as we turn to May, there's a very important moment that the United Nations is holding. The World Humanitarian Summit will take place. And there are many profound issues facing refugees and people who are in need of food aid around this world. This is a particularly important opportunity, we hope, for people in the pulses sector on May 23rd and 24th to think about their engagement in the profound social campaigns that have to be conducted about pulses as a protein source for people who are in need of humanitarian aid. It's an opportunity for you to provide pulses to people who may need them in your country, or to think about your role in the refugee campaigns all over the world. So that's just the next few months. We want to also think about how we move the big issues. We applaud the role that the Indian government has taken on focusing on productivity of pulses. We know that pulses are lagging further behind crops like cereals, which have had so much more attention lavished on them. The role to kickstart research is absolutely critical here, and to encourage crop rotations and intercropping with pulses to the benefit of the sustainability of the entire food system. And as each country aims to improve its pulse production, we can't forget the importance of trade. As Mr. Dongra has pointed out, there is a critical role for the ability to move product around the world to meet the needs in all places. And we are working very hard on issues related to Codex reform and the Committee on Commodity Problems at the United Nations to get attention on pulses. And of course, all of us are doing this to foster sustainable, healthy diets. And so we hope, and I hope in particular, that you might join us this year. Please consider using the hashtags LovePulses and IYP 2016. We have online resources on pulses.org and IYP2016.org. And there's a tremendous opportunity for all 1,200 of you in attendance at this conclave to make 2016 a year that speaks not only to the passion you have for pulses, but to remind the world that the very reason why all of you have gathered together and why India has been so focused on pulses is that they have actually not had the attention that they have deserved. And that this is the moment where we begin a new dialogue, an invigorated dialogue about the future of the pulse sector. Thank you very much.